Okay, so it's been a few days since I last recorded anything. As you can see, I got a new addition to my wardrobe. I bought a few beanies from, I think it's Zoomies. The brand is, well, you can probably see here, Empire. This is not some clothing channel. I'm not doing an unboxing or anything like that. But obviously, had to address the probably the first or most obvious change. But anyways, I want to talk about a few things. Been sort of talking back and forth with Alex via my one I guess you could say social media account, unless you count YouTube channels as that type of account. But I've been out of contact for a few days. I don't know. What should I talk about? Well, there's a few things. I don't really want to go off on a certain tangent, if you will, because as much as these are Nofap vlogs, Nofap life, all that. I've said this time and again. So much of what you can garner from Nofap is whether or not there are other issues in your life, whether or not things are going swimmingly or not, depending upon how you're doing with Nofap. Just like with so many other things in life. But I did get through about 3 weeks. I did end up relapsing. I'll just get that out of the way. It's been a tough few days, but not too much, not overwhelmingly tough, but trying to think back to what precipitated it. Some of it honestly had to do with my laptop just being unusable for a while. I finally figured out how to fix it. I did have to, and I don't remember if I mentioned this in my last vlog, but I did have to go and uninstall some quality updates, the latest ones, or latest one, because it was basically this huge security update that was automated to go for my laptop on Windows 10, and I was able to get the laptop up and running again. But it kind of, I don't know, it sort of caused me to stall, and when I stall, I end up becoming, as you could say, more prone towards something like that, just because it's almost like I got this huge buildup of energy that I want to I'm being both literal and metaphorical. There's literally energy that's building up. You think about testosterone levels going up and metabolism and so on. The fact that you're not expending that energy through fapping, let's say, there is some of that there. I don't know if I could actually quantify it, perhaps, but I don't know if you can measure adenosine triphosphate levels or whatever. But metaphorically speaking, I wanted to sort of transmute that into something, and I really couldn't, because the way I've been doing that for the last it's almost 3 months now. The last 3 months has been essentially working on different online courses and and certifications and that sort of thing. And when I can't access them because of my laptop being down, or I can't access them to the extent that I could actually get real work done, when you're talking about programming course, you can't, to my knowledge, you can't have an IDE running on a integrated development environment like Visual Studios or Eclipse. You can't have that running on a phone, to my knowledge. I don't think they even have them running on tablets. Maybe you can. I haven't tried that, but needless to say, I wasn't able to access that sort of stuff, and I was really just trying to get that C# boot camp knocked out, because I think I'm just kind of at that point where I'm just sort of slogging through it, and I'm just trying to get it done. But I get that sort of backlog of sorts going, and in addition to that, they have extended further my what is supposed to be my start date at the old workplace, which, when that kind of stuff happens, it can sort of affect my mental, emotional state, or my I don't want to say mental health. I mean, I don't want to make it seem like I probably have, because I come to this channel to talk about a lot of these things, but like I'm not, I'm not sitting in my room crying my eyes out or staring off into the distance, like wondering what's the point of it all? Why am I here? I'm not like that. I know I've talked about low-level ambient depression of sorts. I've used that sort of term to sort of describe it. I mean, people might call it NUE, where you're sort of just feeling listless or purposeless. I feel like a sense of purposelessness or listlessness, but something like that, contributes. It's not this trigger point or whatever, but it contributes to me getting into that sort of state of mind where I'm just like, I don't like feeling like that. I don't like being like that. It's almost like the idea of getting stir crazy or getting cabin fever, where you're sort of what's the word? Not cramped up inside, but cooped up inside for an extended period of time. You're not able to get out and actually do something, and maybe it's a function of like being a man or being masculine or having masculinity or so, that you want to be like this creature of action, not just words and thoughts and feelings, but and if you can't act on that, that can lead to all sorts of like eventual dysfunction. I'm not saying like, I mean, it may sound melodramatic to be using those terms, but when we're talking about dysfunction, it's not necessarily like an extreme sort of form of dysfunction necessarily. Like there's sort of a spectrum or a range, if you will, where you might be on one end of the spectrum of dysfunction where you're just feeling off, or you could be on the extreme end where it's like something more akin to what people, I guess, maybe visualize when they think about dysfunction or psychological dysfunction. So I'm not saying it's necessarily like that bad or that extreme, but just being cooped up inside, having the one sort of means by which I feel like I'm making an effort or moving forward in life to be sort of cut off like that, and on top of that to be having my start date nearly pushed back and getting sort of this like questioning process going on in my mind, going like, why are they moving it back? Why are they doing this? Is there something else going on? And being told like that it's because they've got so many new hires, they want to spread this stuff out, they don't want it to be like all in one day or all in 1 week, that they're feeling overwhelmed or whatever. And it's like, okay, like, is that really what's going on, or is there something deeper? Is somebody like pushing back? And even though I signed the offer letter, I went through the background check, I did all of that, and then experiencing that, like for instance, another thing today was that I was supposed to have, it's called a I-9 verification meeting, basically where you gotta like show, I guess it's proof that you're legally allowed to like work in this country, whether that's having a green card or citizenship or whatever have you. And I mean, I was born here, so obviously I have that. I could probably go dig up my birth certificate if I needed to. I have it somewhere in my room, but I have my passport, so I was able to find that. I keep them, I typically keep these in like one location where, okay, I can just go there, grab it, just sort of fishing around with my hand, and I found it. But I was supposed to have that today, and then it just, it's like, at first it was supposed to be at 11 a.m., then they tried to move it to 10:30, and then it got rescheduled, but I didn't get the notification, and then it got rescheduled for the 29th, and obviously there are financial pressures, financial woes, if you will, that I'm, faced with, and I'm having to sort of figure out, okay, how can I sort of scrape by till, that point in time, and et cetera, et cetera. And, having sort of certain deadlines come up, like, taking care of taxes, federal tax return stuff, taking care of, because they had an extension for that, and then taking care of like bills that are due for, like, loan payments. And it's like, if I was starting next week, wouldn't be a problem, wouldn't be an issue. I could kind of configure my monies the way I need to configure them so that I could take care of stuff. But these extensions come up, these things get pushed back, and it's like, it affects me. I mean, I'm not saying that I hear that and I go, okay, crap, oh darn it, gosh darn it, time to fab. It's not like that. It's more of this gradual process of just like, almost like reasoning or rationalizing, going and doing, this sort of stuff, and then ending up down that path. But that's some of the stuff that's happened. But like I said, I got my laptop up and running. I've started working on things again. Trying to, I have about 20 courses on Udemy that I've bought. I've worked my way through about a fifth of them. I want to get as many done as I can over the summer. Trying to just keep it with the 20 that I have right now. But I added, several, obviously. I think I pretty much doubled what I already had or so recently. Because one thing that I have done is that I've gone on LinkedIn, I looked at these job descriptions, and I've sort of tried to create a laundry list of, knowledge areas and skill set, whatever you want to, skills or areas of knowledge that these jobs want. And I'm trying to figure out how to get that. And some of them, they have, official certifications you can go for, courses you can take. Like, I've talked about a lot, JMP or JUMP, which is a statistical, like data analysis software package. They do have official courses and certifications from the company. They do have that. Or if you want to talk about SolidWorks or like AutoCAD, they have those sorts of things. But some of these is like, to my knowledge, they either don't have them, or it's sort of something that like you get eventually, and you kind of have to work with the software or an extended period of time, and then you end up going and getting that, to sort of solidify things. Or it's just like, it's kind of cost prohibitive, some of these certifications, to just sort of dive in like that, when you don't have any experience with these tools or tool sets or whatever. Except via something like Udemy or Coursera, where you have courses, thousands of people have taken them. A lot of them are highly rated. You try to like pick out the right ones. Obviously, you want quality in terms of what you're learning, but they give you a basis for like, getting your feet wet, cutting your teeth, that sort of a thing, to gain the knowledge and the experience and expertise with that. And then you can go later on, and assuming that there's, these official certifications or so, you can go and take those and complete those. So I've, like I said, I've been looking at like automation engineer positions and stuff like that, and sort of going through the laundry list of things they want you to know. And obviously, like with a lot of these jobs, it's sort of like a, almost like a, what do they call it? Like a wish list. They're like a wish list from these companies that, we would love it if, the person applying for this job, knew all of these things. We can't expect it, but, we would like it. So I'm like going through that, like, and it's kind of interesting because, I'm sort of looking at it from the perspective of someone who's worked as a technician on the manufacturing floor in a biotech company, and there's so much that we will use in terms of software and equipment and whatnot, that it's sort of like we see the end user point of things, where it's like, okay, you need to scan this barcode and copy paste that into this form, or you gotta save it in this file, or you have to go to this this database login with your login info, and then take this screenshot of this, like this like this readout from some machine and then copy paste that into that. That's your master batch record or your sample tracking or what have you. And it's sort of like you see that, and maybe we have an engineering background like myself, and you're like, oh, I want to get into what the engineers do here. Oh, and here's what the engineers do. You know, they work with all this sort of stuff behind the scenes. And a lot of it, ironically enough, is like stuff that it doesn't seem on the surface like it's something that, you know, you would see in biotech or pharmaceutical. Like, it's like, man, what you're telling me is like if I had minored in software engineering or I had minored in computer science, or I had, you know, over the summer just taken a bunch of online courses in like not just programming but like software development or DevOps or so, in addition to my chemical engineering degree, then I could have just gone straight into this, you know, and I'd be an engineer. And so it's sort of like I'm having to add all of those things to my repertoire. So I've picked up, like, there's a bunch of DevOps courses, for instance, on Udemy. Like, I've picked up a course for Ansible. That's something that I know my dad actually knows and uses, which is kind of interesting. There's Docker, there's Jenkins, there's, what else? Selenium. I also have like 3 courses I added for robotic process automation, and there's like obviously the DevOps stuff that I just mentioned, and there's like unit testing and like manual testing courses. And I'll be going through that sort of stuff. I hope I can just get through all the programming stuff ASAP, because really want to get into the DevOps stuff, because that's, like, ironically enough, where it's at. That's all the stuff that's under the boilerplate behind the scenes that, allows someone on the manufacturing floor to just, like, scan in a series of, barcodes on some plates or on some tubes or so, and then, like, store the data for these different samples in a database. Oh, and I also added a course for LIMS, which is a laboratory information management system. So it's sort of like an overview course. It's not how should I put it? It's one of those courses that I'm taking, or I will be taking, finishing, whatever, as sort of a lead in to probably an official certification, because it's sort of like I want to know and understand, like, what is a LIMS, how it works, that sort of thing, and then based off of which type of LIMS the company I work for uses, based off of that, then I can go further and be like, okay, I want to get trained up on that specific system. I think like LabVantage is one. There's some other company, I think Brooks Life Science I think they make some of those as well. I know they do storage systems. The company Hamilton that I mentioned, I've mentioned in the past, they also do storage systems. I don't know if they do LIMS. I had to figure that sort of stuff out eventually, but see, it's all this kind of like ancillary stuff that, like, you have to know which, like I said, it's ironic because it doesn't seem like the kind of stuff that you would be learning in order to, like, work as an engineer in the biotech industry or the pharmaceutical industry. But it's sort of like, this is kind of like why a lot of those software companies, they're able to sort of have their fingers in many pies, or have their toes dipped in many different pools, or they be involved with so many different industries, because, like, they have these kind of software packages where it's like, you could be working with data from a biochemical manufacturing process. So you could be working with data from a like a telecommunications manufacturing process, or you could be working with data from semiconductor chip manufacturing for, like, laptops and microcomputers, or PCs or mainframes, or pretty much anything that's like multi-purpose. And like I said, I've been going through these job descriptions, got the got the relevant courses. I'm trying to keep it in this, it's 20 right now. This 20 range. There number of courses that I have signed up because I want to keep it manageable and be focused and that sort of thing. I mean, it's a little bit tempting to just go and like buy a whole ton of courses and get myself like 50 of them sitting there and then feel like I'm not really getting anywhere, or get sort of backlogged in that sense. But try not to do that. So I'm going to focus in on these ones. If I do feel like I should buy some more, maybe I will, but keeping myself busy. And I do, like I said, want to get this done probably by the end of the summer. See if that's possible, how far I can get. But the thing is, like, I'm looking forward to this fall, wanting to sign up for some more courses for the whole master's, graduate school, admission, prep, whatever you want to call it. Because then there's that aspect of like moving myself forward where it's like, okay, certification in outside knowledge is great, but a master's would really like seal the deal. So other than that, what else? Well, my dad's apparently getting some interviews with some places to get hired up at some place, and it sounds like the folks at home, folks in the family, are starting to sort of, maybe they're starting to change their tune, which is good. I still have had the experience of having my sister call me in the middle of the night trying to pull me into some conflict she has in the family with either my dad or my mom, and I've just basically just avoided it. Not really worth fighting over that sort of stuff. I just try and stay out of it. Just don't answer the call, I guess you could say, and then sort of communicate with my dad about things and just kind of try and be cognizant of what's going on, that sort of deal. Other than that, not much. I have talked to my folks about like my health concerns, but I haven't really had a chance to go see a doctor, anything like that recently. I guess that's sort of the other thing I would want to talk about, because I do like experience these abdominal pains. I got issues with my hands, that sort of thing. Nothing I can really go into detail about, because I like I said, I don't have like an actual medical diagnosis. And the funny thing is, if you go online and you try and Google this stuff, it's like it's like 20 possible causes, and half of them are minor, sort of things like, oh, just drink more water and exercise to get sleep, or they're the other half is like, you're gonna freaking die, and you can get all freaked out and get confused as to like what is really going on. But I think my plan is that once I do actually finally get started at the workplace, obviously sign up for healthcare coverage. I'll probably go for a more comprehensive one this time, because I obviously have some concerns about health and what could be going on, that sort of deal. But I'll be going in, obviously first to a general practitioner, and see if I need to get referred to some sort of specialist. Obviously I got concerns about things like hernias and appendicitis and that sort of thing. Like, I was talking to my folks and asking about any sort of medical history stuff in the family, like, hey, is anybody in the family that you know of ever had these kinds of issues? And they're telling me no for a lot of the stuff, which, I mean, it could mean something, it could mean nothing. But at the very least, like, there are certain things out there that if it runs in the family, you do have a higher, likelihood of it. Then there are cases where it's like you could be the first person who got this medical issue or what have you. But I'm also sort of thinking about like stuff from the past that I could have done, which was like chronic behavior, behavior decisions or lifestyle decisions that could contribute to what's going on right now. I mean, I would hope that what I'm experiencing is mostly just like maybe there's muscle strain, maybe I need to stretch more, maybe I need to drink more water. Maybe I'm just dehydrated. Maybe it's my electrolyte levels, something like that, as opposed to it being something really severe like a muscle tear that contributes to something like a hernia or something of that nature. It's like, as far as hernias are concerned, like some folks in my family have had those, but it's sort of like, for me, honestly, like if I was a fighter pilot and I was pulling 7Gs in my my F-35, or I was um, a weightlifter or so, and I was actually doing something that would be like an exertion that would cause that would be one thing. But like, I haven't really been doing that sort of stuff, so like I'm really hoping it's not something like that, because to be getting that sort of thing in your mid-30s, especially when you haven't been like physically like intensively active, you haven't been doing like all sorts of crazy exercises or physically exerting yourself or what have you, like that would not be a good sign. But the odd thing is, like, I do experience these symptoms like when I'm sitting down, not so much when I'm standing up or walking around, or even when I'm like doing exercise, like if I'm engaging my abdominal muscles, my core, like I don't really experience that stuff. But when I sit down or I'm like laying down or so, that's when I experience that, which is kind of weird. But needless to say, I get actual health coverage. I am going to schedule a checkup, just like a basic general checkup. I can put together like a laundry list of the things I'm experiencing, so that I think might be going wrong, etc., and get this stuff taken care of. Because I mean, it's not just a matter of just not wanting to be in pain or be like incapacitated or miserable. Yeah, that's definitely there. But it's also a matter of like the things that, I know in my heart of hearts, so to speak, that I need to accomplish and I need to take care of. I need to settle, responsibilities and aims and hopes, desires, whatever, goals that I won't be able to do. And, it's not just about myself, but I won't be able to do that kind of stuff if I don't, take care of these sorts of things. So anyways, not sure exactly what I'm going to do when I get back. Probably try and get more done on that C# boot camp. I'm honestly like, what is it? I'm 65, almost 70% of the way through. If I could just push my way through tonight, I could have that done, and then I could basically take a look at the rest of them and go, okay, where do I want to go next? But anywho, I think I've gone on long enough, and this will probably be like part of my new look. I got 3 of these. I have this one, which is like it's actually gray colored, but I can't see. It's like a sort of marbled gray look. And then I got one that's just black, and then I have another one that's olive green. So picking out the colors that I liked. Anyways, it's about half an hour now, so I'm gonna finish up recording and head back in. It's like looks like it's like 9:15 p.m. right now, so getting kind of late. I probably want to get something to drink and then just get on with what I was working on. So anywho, talked enough, and thanks for watching, and I'll see you folks around. Bye bye.